My name is Dylan Felix, and this is the summary for the first week in David Weaver's Physics 112 over at CGCC. So first day we got into class, and we split up into group by major, and then we did a couple exercises to see how much time per week we had available, who had how many credit hours, who's taking the most classes, who also has a job on the side, just to kind of get to know everybody in the class. And then we broke up into different groups, and as you can see by this first picture, we broke down and started opening up the Arduino kit and installing programs and making sure it was hooked up correctly. And you would see the green light down here, and it would be blinking if we installed the program correctly. And then this is just the box that it came in. See all the different wires, and it comes with 15 different projects that we can do eventually in the semester. And right here, this is once it's plugged in, you can see the green light is plugged on and plugged in, and the program that we ran, you can see right here, blink, would get these lights, this one light over here, to blink, and that just assured us that it was hooked up and installed correctly. And this is the manual that we did read through to learn how to do that. Pages, I think it was 16 through 19 for different operating softwares. And then as a group, we went over how we were going to do the weekly summaries, and this is just a picture I used so I wouldn't forget. We're going to use Screenomatic just as a mental reminder. Then we were asked 3 different questions that caused us to, as a group, just think about possible answers and come to a basic agreement on what we all together thought the answers were. And then I believe this was Thursday's class. We broke down into groups again that we were with for the previous class and pulled up the castle kits, and you can see we had the battery cells, some wires, some lights, different bulbs, and a little compass to do several different exercises. And then as a group, we were asked to come up with 4 different ways to get the light bulb to light using the wires and the battery cells. We got to them fairly easily. It was these top 2 right here, just flipping the cell from positive to negative. And then we ran into a little trouble figuring out how to get it to light, and then David came over and helped us with that. But we figured out if you could turn it sideways and then use the wire to light up the bottom, on the bottom of the battery, and then the bottom of the light bulb, it would also light. So that in turn gave us our 4 ways to light the bulb. And then you can see here we linked and hooked up all the batteries together in a series, because there's a series and parallel ways of wiring. So we did that. And then this one was also a series. You'd get the power going there, lights it up, and it continues through the whole process. This was an interesting little experiment. You turn the light off, and then you put the wire down on the compass, and once you get power through the wire, it will rotate the compass needle 20 degrees counterclockwise because of the power going through the wire. And then we started breaking down, building up the Arduino kit itself, and following the instructions just to get ahead so we could start working on the different projects that we're going to be completing throughout the next 8 weeks. Right there you can see, put it on there's the breadboard right there, and this is the little piece of wood that everything screws onto. It makes a nice little platform. And then once that was all built, I started working on some of the projects at home. And this one, here's your resistor, and you got your push switch, and you got your jumper wires right here, and your LED board or LED light. And then you build this with it not hooked up to power, so you don't have to worry about frying your Arduino. And then once it's all hooked up, you plug it in, you can see your lights saying that you do have power. And then if all is wired correctly, you press the push button down and it should light up the LED. And then this one is also a series you see you have the two push buttons, so the power comes through here, through the capacitor, goes into the push button, that'll connect the circuit, goes through this, another circuit. So essentially you have to press both of the buttons down to get the LED to light this time. And there, that's showing that it's working correctly. And then the last project on this one, it was a parallel, so you could light it up by pressing either of the buttons. So you can see right here the top button lights up and the bottom one. And you don't have to press them both at the same time. So that is, we also learned about Ohm's law. So voltage equals current times resistance, so the volts equals the amps times the ohms. And we also took the resistance of different bulbs, a longer bulb and a smaller bulb, and the different filaments inside gave different resistances. So the larger bulb was 0.6 resistance and the smaller one was 0.4. And then we did some different math calculations and found out that 3.8 volts divided by 0.36 gave us the 10.5 ohms. And that is it for the first week.